Hello everybody. Welcome to part 6 of immunising your child against the primal wound. So, uh, I've been talking to a lot of parents recently, a lot of potential adoptive parents, and also adoptive parents, and who are concerned about this thing. This primal wound thing. They're they're telling me that it's putting a prospective adoptive parents are telling me that it's putting them off adoption, and we don't want that, do we? We want everybody who is up for adoption to go forward, and if it's right for them, to go forward and become adoptive parents. That's what we want. We want more kids out of care and into homes for good. So there's also concern about adoptive parents who've actually already adopted, and they're reading this stuff about the primal wound, and they're worried that their child is wounded and is behaving in a way that demonstrates this wound, or they're worried about happening in the future. So everything's going okay, but there's this ominous cloud over them as parents, and they're worried about this potential thing, and they're in the dark, And the metaphor that came to my mind is, when we were kids playing murder in the dark, a completely horrible idea, and it used to scare the creepers out of me. You go into a room, a group of kids, and one person has told them the murderer, not actually going to murder anybody, but they're supposed to tap them on the shoulder. And sometimes, they're being kids, they didn't just tap the victim, actually hit them or something like that. But you're in the dark and you're waiting. You know that there's this danger there, and you can't see it coming, but you know you might fall victim, and that is a scary place to be. So that's the point of these videos, is to immunize your child against the primal wound. And I was talking to two people about this yesterday. So one's an adoptive mum, and the other is um, a guy who works in adoption, and had two insights I wanted to share. The brilliant one from Matthew McCall at the Home for Little Wanderers in Boston, in the States. He made a distinction between pain and injury. Pain and injury. So what are we talking about? How does that stack up with the primal wound? Okay. So I have definitely felt pain. I have felt pain. I felt anguish. I felt unloved. I felt not good enough. I felt rejected. I felt abandoned by my birth mother. Two very short bursts. And when I say short, I mean less than 10 seconds. Less than 10 seconds in 54 years on this planet, right? A lot of people, a lot of adoptees have felt a lot more than that. I have felt pain, but have I actually been injured? Because the idea of the primal wound is an injury, isn't it? Like somebody getting cut and causing a wound. And we're saying this wound is primal. What is it? What is it that I asked Laurie Holden? Lavender Loose is her website, lavenderloose.com. I think it's .com. And she said, our psyche is wounded. Our psyche is wounded. I thought, yeah, that's what is. that is what's wounded. But our psyche isn't really a thing, is it? We make it into a thing, but it's not a thing. It's an idea. Mm, it's a. I guess it's our ego. It's our mind. It's our personality. It's something that it's a collection. It's a collection of beliefs, and those beliefs aren't things. So if they're not things, then they can't be injured. Yes, who could deny, especially not me, been through pain? I've been through emotional pain, but I am not my pain. I am not my feelings. I am not my psyche. I'm the spiritual essence, the chi, the life force, the nature. Some people might call it God. I am the awareness. I am the consciousness. All these things are unwoundable because they're not objects. They're not things. They're ideas floating around in our heads that have become solid. So they look solid, like an ice cube. An ice cube is solid. An ice cube is solid. We bring the light of our, if we bring a blowtorch or any sort of heat to that ice cube, it melts. So it goes from ice to liquid. We keep on with the heat. The water turns to vapor, and the vapor turns to nothing. And what was a little puddle where the ice cube had melted is gone, and there's nothing there. That's what psyche is. That's what personality is. That's what feelings are. That's what all this stuff is. Nobody has ever seen it. Nobody has ever seen it. Nobody has ever seen it because it's not a thing. We make it into a thing. We make it into a thing to talk about this stuff. We make it into a thing like it's a metaphor. That's what we're talking about. Metaphors. Metaphors aren't real. The primal wound isn't a real thing because it is pain. It's not injury. It's not injury because it's not a thing that can be injured. You can break an arm, but you can't break a psyche. We say we're broken. We say we're broken. We're using a concrete, objective word to describe something that we describe the indescribable. Can't describe. We describe a thing that's not a thing. It's a bit like I mentioned this the other day, Michelle. It's a bit like that. So the metaphors are like taking something that's not there, like the invisible man. The invisible man is invisible because it's not there. And we put bandages, we put clothes on the invisible man and bandages on his face to make him visible. But in making the invisible more concrete, we give it more oomph. And as Matthew McCall from the Home for Little Wanderers in Boston also said, the belief in the primal wound is what keeps it going. It solidifies it. So instead of the light of the heat of consciousness, the attention of consciousness, the intention of awareness, melting the ice cube, believing it is like putting it in the deep freezer. Wow. So a lot to chew over there. Always, as always, I don't mention this, but if any of this is ringing true to you, just a little bit, it's hard, really hard to get this across in a monologue. Much better in a conversation. So if you want to have a conversation with me about this, say that I think you're onto something, Simon. I can see a glimpse of something here, but I really, I don't get this at the depth that you're talking about here. Well, I've been studying this for 12 years, right? And I'm still learning. I'm still consuming stuff. Stuff I listen to, three-quarters of stuff I listen to these days, still um, confuses me because my brain's not caught up yet with these thoughts. So if you think there's a glimpse there that you want to know more about, then get in touch. Thrivingadoptees.com, thrivingadoptees.com, or message me here on YouTube. Go on my website, thrivingadoptees.com, Simon at thrivingadoptees.com. Anyway, speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.